I stopped using the law of attraction and I started to manifest everything so fast. And there's a couple of simple reasons. It's because I just started to let go. And letting go was the most important part. When I say letting go, I mean literal emotional mastery, finding deep inner peace and serenity, and then flowing with life with a gentle intention on top. With the law of attraction, I had to raise my vibration, feel gratitude all the time, try and almost add something to myself. But what I want to remind you today is you can manifest anything you want, and you are perfect just now as you are. But what it is, you've been holding on to too much. You've been carrying too many emotions. Learn to master emotions and let go, rather than try and master feeling gratitude when you're not actually grateful. And then you will start to manifest lots, and you will start to live a life of peace and direction. Today I'm going to explain it as clearly as possible so you can manifest anything you want to. So I'm living a life that I can only describe as beautiful at the moment. Opportunities, interesting people, living in a place that I love, wife that I love, children that are healthy, and also my business is growing every day and I get to see you wonderful people and make these videos, and the channel is growing. Why is that? I have actually not put extra effort into my life. I work less now than I ever have. What I realized is that I needed to master my inner environment. And you master that through mastering your emotions. Now, when it comes to the law of attraction, we're told too much that we need to feel it as it is we need to feel the thing as if we already have it now, and we need to feel grateful, and we need to elevate ourselves. And even Dr. Joe talks about this. But the truth of the matter is you are literally created in the likeness and image of God. So if you are someone who has some sort of connection to faith and connection to a divine being, why would that divine being hold anything back from you just because you're not elevated? You need to align to the natural energies of the universe. Was there any effort in the creation of this universe? Is there any effort for the sun to shine? Do you notice any of that effort, or does it all happen by divine design? Life can be like that too when you align to its majesty, to its song. But what it is we're trying too hard and reacting too much and trying to be above it all. But actually what you need to realize is you don't need to be above it all. You need to be able to look at it from behind it all. That was the big change for me. So when problems started to come up and I was literally living in a house in Spain at the time, £40 in the bank, not sure how I'm going to feed my family, I realized I just live in terror all the time. I'm constantly trying to change and control and do this and do that. And I'm trying to feel grateful and then having big highs and massive lows. One of my favorite sayings is someone comes up to you and they say, "Are you happy all the time?" And you say, "I don't chase happiness. I find peace." And they said, "Why?" And this was to a Buddhist monk. He said, "Why?" He said, "Because when you chase gratitude and happiness, there's always highs and there's big lows. When you find peace, you are just constant." And what is the nature of divinity but constantness? A truth, a constant truth. So you connect to the divine in peace. And when you can find deep inner peace, you can start to claim from there. The other way I've always described it, and I've probably said it 100 times, is think of your mind like the waters of your mind, the lake of your mind. If it is constantly up and down and swirling and swaying and doing this and doing that, when you put something like a big stone in there, you're not going to see much of a ripple. But if you can calm the waters of your mind, you put a lovely little bit of dust on there, tiny intention, and it will ripple out all across the universe. So my point here is to you is stop trying to add things to yourself and recognize that you're perfect now. Instead, look at yourself and how you interact with this life. Do you interact it through a lot of reactions, feeling like life is against you? Someone said to me, and a client the other day, it felt like the universe was just giving me a real kick in the teeth. And I said, the universe doesn't think of you like that. The universe doesn't want to harm you. It just is. So there's nothing inherently against you. What it is there's nothing good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So if we're constantly thinking about how hard life is and how terrible things are, we're going to get more things that are terrible. So when you start to let go, it actually gives you some sort of clarity to hold the thought and imagery of what you want for longer. than usual. But when you're doing it on a high stake emotion like gratitude, you can hold it for a certain amount of time, but it takes effort, and effort goes against creation. So when I started to let go, I started to realize that my effort didn't need to increase. I needed to let go more and just intend. So at the moment when I'm looking to manifest new things or bring in other good into my life, I realize that it's not about me trying to do something. It's about me taking the usual amount of physical effort in this world by maybe showing up to the office, doing work, making this video, for example, but then letting go of the need and expectation for it to do anything. Exactly that is how we learn. We learn to let go of the need for something to happen for us to be okay. So my thing I would say to you very kindly and softly is your job is to let go. Now, if you're holding on to trauma around money, relationships, health and all these, you are going to have to face them rather than trying to ignore them. A lot of people, they say ignore your reality. I think it's the biggest myth in this spiritual world. Don't ignore it. Face it, but without judgment. Because if you don't face your reality and you just keep ignoring it, it's going to show up in some other way until you deal with the energy. See, energy can't be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed and transmuted into something else. So if you keep ignoring negative energy, it's going to store up until it has to explode in something big for you to actually deal with. Interestingly enough, though, I had a client who was doing a lot of letting go, and it brought up a lot of negativity in her until she had a moment where she thought, I can't do this anymore. But it was exactly at that moment when I guided her, I was very gentle with her, that the solution to her health issue came up. A couple of days later, she finally got come through that a doctor said, all you need to do is go to an osteopath, and these terrible pains that you're feeling, they're going to be able to realign you and you will not suffer with this problem anymore. Also, they're giving her some special pain relief and other things like that. But isn't that stunning? Isn't that beautiful? This is what I want you to know. Your solution is always there, but you have to deal with the trauma. Her trauma come up and her identity collapsed. She needed it to happen. That's why you have to be willing to face the fires, walk through the fires of the mind. The energy on your body, if it's not dealt with, is like a flame that will burn through you until you deal with it. So deal with letting go. Find deep inner peace, serenity, and all these things. And then you will start to find absolute freedom, because now you can focus on your desire for a long period of time. And what we focus on increases. So without emotional turmoil, you're not pulled away in this direction and that direction. You're actually pulled towards focus. So now you can focus on abundance, focus on love, focus on health, focus on harmony. I hope this video was helpful today, guys. This is how I manifest everything in my life, and my life's transformed. I hope you can do it too by just applying these simple truths. I'll see you in the next one.